So I thought it would be interesting to see what would happen if whoever wins a race in this 10 race season will have a 10% reduction in their engine power. So I decided to give it a go with the AI difficulty perfectly balanced, driving as Carlos Sainz to see if I could win the championship. Now we start in Spain for this championship. Now I have no idea how this championship is going to go because I've never done this mod before. So I have no idea what the 10% reduction in power is going to do. So we're going to have to see what happens, and if whoever gets the 10% reduction in power, the whole team will get it, because I couldn't really mod the whole thing. I think it's actually impossible to mod a single car. You have to actually mod the team, but we come in Spain for the first race, quite a quick one, and we do finish in 6th position, and Max gets the first win, which means he will get a 10% reduction in engine power as we come into Canada for the second race. So we'll see how Max ends up in this race with the 10% reduction in engine power. Now it isn't solely about engine power around Canada, but we can see he qualifies down in 9th position, our teammate gets pole, and we get 6th position for the first race. So another sort of mid-table, mid-10th, top 10 position for us. So we're going to try just keep these solid points going for the championship, and just try keep it sensible and finish these races as we do a nice lovely double overtake on the McLaren and the Alpine there, who are both battling. But we'll come onto lap 2 here, and we're all the way on the back of Hamilton. We sort of managed to make up this pace, try catch up to Leclerc as we dummy Hamilton to the inside there. We're going to try and line up a position up here as we lose the back end, and we fortunately break our front wheel and go into the wall around Canada. So it hasn't been a great start for us in this championship as we crash out of the second race, but there's still a long way to go. But we do have our teammate winning the race, which means we unfortunately going to have a 10% reduction in engine power for both of us. It doesn't matter who wins the race, the whole team is going to get a 10% reduction in engine power as we come for Silverstone for the third race. Now I'm pretty decent around Silverstone, and this car is pretty good around the corners, so hopefully we can get a decent qualifying session, and we do. In 3rd position, we out-qualify our teammate by 5/10, who's all the way down in 11th position. So we can see that engine power reduction is having an effect on the team, as well as the Red Bull, who are qualifying all the way down there. But it is going to be a tricky race for us around Silverstone, as it is mostly due to engine power and straight line speed, as well as a sort of high speed corners. But we can see we drop down into 5th position. Both Alpines are battling here. Hopefully we can try pick up the scraps from both of these two and make a move on Ocon here, as we easily do that. Now we do have Ocon coming on to the back of us here. We just don't have the engine power to compete with him as he goes to the inside here, squeezes out through Cops. Now we're going to go for probably side by side into Maggots and Beggots here. We're going to go to the inside, and he hits our front tyre. We spin around and we are out for the second time in this championship in the third race. Now that is solely down to the AI there. They've squeezed us right to the apex, spun us out, and there's pretty much nothing we can do there as Lando Norris hits our inside tyre, our left side tyre there, and we are both out of the race. So it isn't been a good start to this championship as George Russell wins that race, and our teammate's all the way down in 6th position. Now he does lead the championship, and we are down in 10th place, so it's going to be very hard to bridge this gap, but we still have quite a few races to go to try and edge the gap ever closer as we come to Austria for the 4th race. And we qualify in a solid 5th position there, and our teammate qualifies in 3rd. But we can see Mercedes got hit with a 10% reduction in engine power, and they're about mid-table at the moment, so it is working. I just don't know how this championship is going to end up with all the teams sort of having a 10% reduction in engine power. We may see maybe Williams get up to the top and maybe win a race in this championship, but we come into Austria for this awful wet race. We're on the back of Gasly going into turn 1. Hopefully we can try and make a move around the outside, and we do have a lovely move on Gasly there, and we do manage to make the move, and we come on to lap 3. We make a move on Leclerc. He goes to the inside. We're going to go around the outside of Leclerc as he outbrakes us. We're going to go try and hang it around the outside. There's more grip, more traction around there, and we do manage to make the move easily enough on our teammate. Now that's what we need in this championship to get as many points over our teammate, who is leading the championship. And we do finish home above him in 4th position, and we do get the fastest lap, but Alpine does win the race there. And we look onto the standings. Charles is still leading the way, and Alonso is in 2nd, and we've managed to make up a few positions there as well. So Alpine do get a 10% reduction after the Austrian Grand Prix. Now we're going to Spa for the 5th race, and we can see if you look on the top left hand corner in qualifying, how many positions we drop is absolutely horrendous with this engine power. We're all the way down into 18th place, but we come a bit later on. We've managed to get up into first position through the corners. I must say the Ferrari car on F122 is pretty good around the corners. But as we final the lap and we finish in third position, so a pretty good solid qualifying as our teammate qualifies in 5th there. You can see both Alpines are down in 18th and 19th place, so that engine reduction has hit them quite bad in this championship. But we're going to try and make some solid points in this race as our teammate goes for the move on us round the outside in turn 1, but we're side by side down the long straight at Spa, and we're going to get double overtaken there by Gasly and Leclerc, a bit similar to Mika Hakkinen and Schumacher back in 2000 I believe it was. So we got absolutely embarrassed there, but we're going to try come back for the move on Gasly and Leclerc as both of them are fighting in between us. We make a bit of contact with his rear tyre, but I don't think we get any damage from that. But we can see up in front Gasly has the engine power over our teammate and managed to get in front. So I think this battle is going to be with our teammate for this race, and we go for a very late dive bomb move through the bus stop chicane on our teammate. We try hang it around the outside and we do manage to make the move stick there, so a lovely move on our teammate, and that's all that matters, just to try get as many points over our teammate Charles Leclerc as he is leading the way in the championship, as we make a move on Pierre Gasly down the inside for 4th position. Now it's going to be quite hard to keep this position over Gasly. As we can see, looking at our rear view mirror, he's just got that engine speed, that straight line speed over us, as he's just all the way round our rear wing and he flies past us down the long straight around Spa. I forgot the name of the straight, but it's still a straight. But we're going to try hang it round through these corners on Gasly and try keep the move back. We're going to go down the inside to this long right hander. We do lock up, we push him out wide, and we've managed to make the move stick through there. But we know at the end of the lap he's going to try and make up the pace that he has lost, and we can see that straight line speed. He's going to go around the outside. He outbrakes us through the bus stop chicane. Now, and this point matters. We're going to try and hang it round the outside, get on the traction, use a bit of ERS, and we do cross the line in 4th position for the Spa Grand Prix. So that is a good 12 points, and our teammate actually finishes down in 9th position. So in the championship, we can see there we're still in 8th position. We managed to close the gap, but he is still leading the way as McLaren and Lando Norris gets an engine reduction for the Spa Grand Prix. Now it is Monza for the 6th Grand Prix, I believe it is. So whoever doesn't have an engine reduction will most likely win this race, because it is all about the engine power and the straight line speed around here, as we get swamped by a few cars on the start around Monza. Now we're going to keep it slow and steady through the first few corners around Monza, because we know how this usually happens with a few accidents. But as we come on to the start of lap 2 here, we can see the straight line speed of the Aston Martins as they pull away massively, and even Albon in the Williams is catching us here. So I believe whoever doesn't have an engine penalty will get this race win. I think the AlphaTauris are leading the way, but we can see, I believe it is Hamilton and Max Verstappen both in front of us here, who also have an engine reduction penalties. So I believe we can maybe make the moves on these two, as we go for a very late move on Hamilton down into turn 1. A very late move, and we've somehow managed to make that move stick on Hamilton there. And now we come a bit later on to the final lap, but on the back of Max Verstappen here. He does have the same engine penalty as us, he's in the same boat as us. I'm going to go for a similar move on him down the inside at turn 1 at Monza. We go very wide on the exit, but we managed to make the move stick here and get the points over him. But we can see a bit later in the lap, Albon's come from absolutely nowhere, and he's going round the inside, and he's managed to make the move stick before the corner even starts. And we can see we can't battle the engine power he does have. We have no chance of trying to get past him, and he does manage to make the move stick, and we will unfortunately finish down in 10th position, but that's still a point over Charles Leclerc and the people in the championship who are near the top, probably Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, as Pierre Gasly wins the Monza Grand Prix. We can see we do unfortunately drop down to 10th, but we still close that gap to Charles Leclerc as AlphaTauri get a 10% reduction in their engine power as we're coming to Japan for the 7th race of the season. Now I believe we do have a good chance of finishing in a good position here, because it does have quite a few high speed corners. Japan is very well known for that. So I think if we can make up the time in the corners, we can somehow maybe get a podium position. As we come to the end of a qualifying lap, we're still in P1 and we cross the line, and that is pole position for the Japanese Grand Prix. So this is a good opportunity to close the gap massively to the top guys, as Max Verstappen lines up in second. So it's going to be a good battle with him for this Grand Prix to see whoever gets the race win around Japan. Now, I'm not sure if it is best to get the race win, because as you know, we will get another engine reduction of 10% if we do win, but we will get that extra 7 points if we do win, as Max gets the lead of the race at the start there. But we're just trying to weigh up the pros and cons, if it is good to get this race win or just to finish in second. But I'm still going to go for the move on Max Verstappen. I think I made up my mind that it is probably best to get these 7 points, never mind the 10% reduction in engine power, because the car still is good in the corners, and for these final 2 races at Mexico and Brazil, we can maybe make up these positions as we get the fastest lap. We're going to go for the move on Max. He goes to the outside, we go for the inside through the first few corners around Japan. Can we hang it around the outside? No, he pushes out wide. We hit his rear tyre and we can't make the move stick. Whereas we come a bit later on in the lap, we've still got the same engine power. We go for the slipstream, go for a BIRS, we go through the inside on 130R, a pretty audacious move on Max. We outbraking going into the chicane here where Senna and Prost had an accident. As we cross the line on the final lap, we do manage to win the Japanese Grand Prix, and we take the full points at hand, as we do get the fastest lap as well. So we managed to get a few points then, claw the gap at the top, and we're only 8 points behind Charles Leclerc. George Russell's in second and Max is in third, but we do unfortunately get a 10% reduction in the engine power once again. So we're the only team with 10%, 10% reductions. So our engine power is going to be pretty atrocious for these next couple races, but we do manage to qualify in a pretty respectable 6th position round the Mexican Grand Prix, which does have a long straight, but we do have the car in the corners as we get absolutely swamped on the start here. Now this is not what we need for these final 2 races. We need just some solid points positions, maybe a 5th or 4th place for these next couple of races, just to maybe have a chance of winning the championship. But our teammate's down here as well, so it's going to be very hard for him to win the championship as well. So I think it will be close between us, Mercedes and Red Bull for the championship. But as we can see, we make a double dive bomb move on both the McLaren and the Haas, as we try to hang it around the outside of both of them here. We make a bit of contact there. I don't think we left enough room on them, but we still managed to make the move stick up into 10th position. So it's about making the moves up as we come onto lap 4 here. We're going to go around for outside move, a similar one like we did on the McLaren and Haas, and we make the move stick on Sergio Perez, the home favourite round here, up into 8th position. But as we come onto the final lap, we're on the back of George Russell. I think we're going to go for this move in the stadium section. We need as many points as possible. We dive down the inside, we rub in tyres. He's on our side pod, we're still side by side, going to go into the final corner here. He's on the inside, we're going to get the run on the outside, use a bit of ERS, try and get the best run as possible, but we're side by side through the final corner. But I do think we managed to make the move stick, and we managed to finish in 7th position. That was just so close with George Russell, as we managed to finish just 3 thousandths ahead of him. And Bottas actually manages to win the race at Mexico, and he does lead the championship somehow into the final race, and we are 13 points behind him. So we still have a chance going into Brazil to still win this championship, and even Bottas has a chance to win this championship in the final race. But he's going to be very close at the top, because I think George Russell and Max Verstappen don't have an engine penalty into the final race, so I think they're favourites going into Brazil to win the championship. But we're still in with a chance. There's still quite a few corners around Brazil to make up the time loss on the straights. As we can see, we're in qualifying, we're losing time on the straights, but as we come into the final sector, we're up into 3rd position. So we're sort of contesting for the podium positions in qualifying. We can still try to get as best a position as possible, but unfortunately we do qualify down in 9th position in the final race, so it isn't looking good for the championship. But if we get a good race, a good start, we could be still in with a chance. And if Max Verstappen does crash out as well as George Russell, we still can have a chance of winning the championship. But we can see we get absolutely mauled at the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. There's nothing we could do, but we're going to try and hang it around the outside of Ocon there, who also had an engine reduction of 10% later on in the season. But we're going to try just keep our head down, try make up the moves on the guys in front, as we are in 11th position. We're going to go for an outside move on Vettel on lap 1, as we go for a bit of a cheeky move on a couple of cars in front of us here. So we're side by side with Albon. He squeezes into the inside. The Alpine, not the Alpine, the AI have no idea what they're doing, and they just squeeze everyone to the apex like no one's there. But we do manage to make the move on Alex Albon here. Now we're on the back of our teammate, but unfortunately as we come on to the final lap here, Albon did re-overtake us, and we are still down in 9th position on the final lap. So it looks like, unfortunately, we won't win the championship, but we're going to see who does win the championship for this crazy championship which happened. But George Russell does win the championship, tied points with Max Verstappen, and we finish our way down in 6th position.